Computer there. Well, hello. My name is Garth McFadden, and this is Play Your Part Volunteer Behind the Music. And this is an information session. And with it being an information session, we want to make sure that everybody gets their questions answered and their curiosity kind of, their curiosity filled. We're going to have time at the end for questions and answers. And so this is basically an information session for the Huronia Symphony Orchestra fundraising committee that we're putting together. And of course, you see that picture there. You recognize that guy with the violin? That is my brother. That is my brother David. I'm the guy standing beside him with the bowler hat and the Beatles, and that was the night of the proms a few years ago. Some of you may remember it. I remember it. I remember it quite fondly. And so my brother is 5 years younger than me, and I can assure you, as good as he is now, he wasn't always that he wasn't always that good. I remember when he started playing when he was I don't know, 5 or 6 or whatever, and he's improved immensely. I can assure you. Okay, next up we have what is our purpose here tonight? So we're going to talk about our purpose. We're going to share the vision for the HSO growth. We're going to introduce what the new fundraising committee is going to be all about. We're going to explore ways that you can get involved, and then we're going to leave time for questions and answers. And so our purpose. Oh my goodness, I love these pictures. I love these pictures. Okay, so our purpose is to engage non-professional musicians. When I was in high school, I played the tenor sax, and I played in the stage band and the band and the stage band. And it was an absolute thrill. If you've never played in any kind of organized music like a band or a stage band or a symphony, it is incredible how it comes together. Everybody plays their part, and it comes together in such an incredible music, and to be part of that is a huge thrill. And but I'm not a professional, right? I wasn't like my brother as good. I maybe I wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought, well, I'm bad and he's good. Well, maybe I was good and he's exceptional. But the bottom line is we have a place for people that have learned an instrument, they've gone through the discipline, and they just don't have a place to use it. That's why we're here. So the community can come together and have that feeling, and also for the youth. You know, when you start, I remember my brother, he's taken all these lessons, violin lessons, going back and forth, but he never had an opportunity to play in an orchestra until he was much older. He did the recitals and he did things together, maybe with two or three people and with the family and everything. But there is an additional thrill getting together, letting kids experience an orchestra from on the inside. All of that practice coming together, I tell you, it makes a difference. I recently wrote a grant for the Ontario Trillium Foundation asking for money to expand our youth program. And I reached out to a number of the kids that have been involved in the February youth concert before. And the feedback I got was absolutely incredible, how it touched their lives. And so this is our purpose, and for the local audience. So it's really our purpose is for the non-professional musicians, is for those youth players and the local audience. I when I was a teenager many years ago, I went and saw the movie Star Wars, and I was just fell in love with that movie, and I went as a teenager. I went to see it 7 times. All of these years later, that was back in the 70s. All these years later, all I need to hear is the first two or three bars of the Star Wars music played by an orchestra. And it takes me back. It takes me back to when I was 17 years old, and I relive it. And it, to me, music is incredible. Live music is incredible. And so if I really don't think there's anything that brings the world together. We're different countries, different cultures, different nationalities, we're different. We're finding out more and more how different we are and how diverse we are. But the bottom line is music brings us together. Music brings the barriers down, I think, almost better than anything. Well, maybe food. Okay, we can say food. Well, food is pretty good too. That can bring cultural barriers down too. But music is something that everybody around the world loves. And so with our audiences, look at this picture. This I took these pictures myself on my iPhone, and it was Rule Britannia was the song that was playing. And look at that guy there with the red with the red shirt, and he's just got his Union Jack up there, and he was singing. Look at how many people are singing there. This is why we do it. We do it for the audience, we do it for the youth, and we do it for the non-professionals. So that's our purpose. That's our why. I have passion about it, as you can tell. And I'm a strong believer in the arts and music and the orchestra within the Barrie area. Okay, why Huronia? Why do we matter? Besides what I went through in the last slide, 50 years of live orchestra music in Simcoe County. 50 years. We have a heritage, and we're supporting local musicians and young talent, and we're a cultural anchor, enriching our region. I really believe that it's just one more outlet that enriches our region. So why is fundraising? Why is fundraising essential? Well, first of all, how many have noticed that costs are going up? Anybody, like when you go to the grocery store or elsewhere, you can, oh gee, this has gone up. So ticket sales, all our prices have gone up. What we pay Collier has gone up. Everything is on its way up. So ticket sales covers only a fraction of our costs. We apply for grants. We do get some government funding, especially locally in Barrie. They have supported us year in, year out, the city of Barrie, which is awesome. But we rely on community support to sustain sustain our growth. And so strategic vision for the growth. What is our vision for the growth? Well, last year we put in a seed grant application to the Ontario Trillium Foundation, and they said, "Hey, that sounds like a good plan," and they put $15,000 in our hand to do some very specific things. First of all, to develop a professional strategic fundraising plan. And I think Ian is on the call, or was, yeah, Ian's on the call. He's the one that we hired. He's been involved in the theater in Barrie for years, highly respected in the arts community in Barrie, and he's the one that took a deep dive into everything that is Huronia Symphony Orchestra from A to Z, and he came up with the strategic plan. And so that there was funds for that. We were able to pay him for that. And there was also funds to buy a donor management system, like a CRM. So we used to have the people that gave for silent auction items, they're on a piece of paper in this person's home, and then people that bought tickets, they were on this ticketing system, there, but everything, and who are our volunteers? Well, ask Roger, maybe he knows, so we purchased this uh, customer relation. It's a database where we can enter all of these people that have been involved in the orchestra, from volunteers to board members to paid musician, for non-professional um, musicians, um, and donors, people that give, silent auction items, all of these things we can put together in one place. And the third part is they actually gave us funds so that we can hire somebody part-time to gather all this information and put it in. So those were the three things: the plan, the CRM, and the staffing to do that. But we also want to promote, part of the plan called for promoting legacy and planned giving, expand our donor stewardship and annual giving. That's our develop corporate sponsorship, and also consumer. So what are we doing now? So how have we raised money so far? Well, program advertising. When you come in, you get a program. If you're a concert goer, and there's advertising. We have local merchants and companies that advertise in that, and they pay us for that advertising. Um, and we've started to develop corporate partnerships, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit, a few slides down. Develop a corporate partnership, and also the honorary musician program, and I'm going to show you that in a little bit. Last year, some of the musicians and the setup crew came to us and said it's a little hectic up on the stage here, because every stand has to have a light so that they can see the music, right? And all of those stands had to be plugged in. So you stop and think of the logistics of that and the tripping hazard. And so we put together an email and we sent it out. Let's cut the cord. And with that, we were able to purchase a number of cordless lights for the stands. And so that's something. So we do strategic, need-based fundraising to our donors, and that was very successful. We reached out to the people that were in our database that had bought tickets. They responded. I reached out to one of the local Rotary clubs, and they actually gave us $1,000. Said, "Hey, we'll buy 10 of those lights," which was awesome. We also have the silent auction and the bake sale. These are things that we do every year, and they bring funds in for us. So this is what we're doing now. I'm going to highlight in the next couple of slides. This is our corporate sponsorship that we just launched last year. We're reaching out to the business community for higher dollars. So we put together a first chair sponsorship, second chair, third chair. And so we had one first chair that did not sell, two second chair sponsorships that did not sell, and four third chair sponsorship. And we did sell one of those. So we're moving in the right direction. And if you take a look, Paul was the one that came, and he paid the orchestra $1,250, tax deductible, for that sponsorship seat. And this is something that a big slide comes up at every slideshow. So we need to grow our corporate sponsorship, and so this is a big part of what the fundraising committee is going to be looking to grow. Now, this is the honorary musician, and turn your computers up because there's some audio here. This is me and my brother having a little bit of fun on the honorary musician. So just turn your speakers up, and here we go.
Okay. Hello, I'm David McFadden, and I'm concertmaster of the Huronia Symphony.
And I'm Garth McFadden, and I'm honorary concertmaster of the Huronia Symphony.
No, I'm the concertmaster.
I'm the honorary concertmaster. See, I just bought my card.
You mean I didn't have to do all that practicing to get to play?
No, you have to do the practicing because you play. I can't play, but I can pay.
Stay tuned to see how you too can become an honorary musician with the Huronia Symphony.
There's no musical ability required, just a desire to support your community orchestra.
Well, our audience awaits.
All right.
That's a little, that's a little, everybody hear that all right? That's a little bit of McFadden humor. That's a little bit of McFadden humor for you. So we put this together and it's a monthly amount. So we like this subscription idea that yeah, hey, if you want to sponsor, be an honorary member, you get, in that program how they put all the names of all the different sections and everything, all their name and what they play. Well, there's another section for the honorary musicians. We're not playing, but we're paying. And so I do sponsor my brother at $50 a month concert master. But there's, if we're looking for people to sponsor, and this is anywhere from $10 a month. Who can't afford $10 a month to pour back into? And so there's 10, 25 or 50 or $100 a month. So this is something that we've started and we want to continue. It's targeted for the not corporate but consumer individual, and there's a little bit of so we put this that there's two brochures that we put together. There was this one and the other one for the corporate. And so we need people to get it out there, get the word out there, and run the administration behind it. Okay. What are the fundraising committee goals? Well, first of all, we want to form a dynamic volunteer team. We want to boost our fundraising capacity, foster community ownership, so that the community feel, hey, I'm part of this, and create meaningful supporter experience. If you've ever given to anywhere before, a charity or whatever, it's really nice to be thanked. And so without without the boots on the ground and people to do that, sometimes it takes a month for us to get around finding somebody to actually send something out. And it just makes a real difference. We want to create a meaningful supporter experience where people, companies and individuals who say, okay, I'll stand with you. I'll give $10 a month. I'll be a section leader, $25 a month. We need to make them feel, appreciated and, keep them up to date with things. And so, and how can you help? Okay. So how can you help? We need community connectors. Now, let me explain that. We need people that are connected within the community, that they know people. Here's one of the things that I've had that's been frustrating for me being on the board and being in the fundraising board member seat. And it was also highlighted in Ian's report. I live in British Columbia. And so I'm a BC. I've been out here for 20 years. I'm a businessman. I'm a corporate account manager with Rogers. I do corporate accounts, and I have a ton of people that I know here. I've been involved in networking. I've got people that support the charities that I'm involved with. I've been involved with the Ride to Conquer Cancer. I'm one of the team captains of the Brainiacs. We've, we've raised $3 or $4 million. The highest we raised was $700,000 one year, and I'm one of the team captains. I'm able to reach out to my business community and fill a room and raise funds. I can get my fundraising goal done $2,000-3,000 like that. And all of a sudden I come in, I don't know anybody in Barrie. And if you don't have that relationship, I'm just a guy making cold calls, right? I'm just another annoying salesperson reaching out. I can't walk into a place I don't know people. And so that's been frustrating for me. So we need somebody maybe with a sales background or a business background in the Barrie area, maybe retired or moving in that direction, that knows people and can reach out to people, can put people in a room in a fundraiser and talk passionately about what we're doing. And so we need we need community connectors, people that are able to do that. Um, we also need admin helpers. Hey, I'm not a salesman. I don't want to phone people. I don't want to, bother people, but you can still help. You can still be admin behind the scenes. Yeah, we need people to write thank you letters and thank you notes, do database updates. Hey, we're looking for people that are willing to write a little handwritten card and send it out to somebody that just signed up to be a sponsor. Hey, I'm just writing this from the orchestra. We received your gift. Can't tell you how much we appreciate your donation. Little things like that make a difference. But unless you have somebody with a pen in their hand to do it, it's just not going to get done. So we need helpers that are willing to say, hey, I can do something like that. We need event volunteers. We're like Gallus auctions receptions. Like right now, I have a meeting tomorrow with the manager of Barrie Nissan, and we've been targeting a car dealership as one of our top sponsors for a long time because we think it would be a wonderful win-win relationship. And so we have to, as part of the Ontario Trillium Foundation grant, we have to have a public meeting where local Ontario politicians come together, and then as the orchestra, we can thank them for supporting us by way of the $15,000 they sent. And so instead of renting a room, in a hotel room or something, what I did is I approached people within the orchestra who knows somebody that's part of a car dealership. Long story short, I'm meeting with Bjorn tomorrow. He's the manager of Barrie and Nissan, and he knows the concept. This is what I want to do. Is I want to put a little. I'm going to have the event in his showroom, put a quartet or something right there. We think they encourage them. Hey, once you spring for some wine and cheese, we'll have a nice evening of it. We'll thank the politicians. You can invite your customers. Here's some local politicians. We'll invite some people from the orchestra. We just have a wonderful time. And so I think that's a win-win, but we need volunteers, event people, event volunteers to kind of man the table and to, take names if they want to be on our database or email a list, or maybe there's a business that is saying, hey, you can support us with the silent auction item. So we need volunteers for that. We need people that know about marketing and promotions. We need social media people that know how to do the graphics and post it. And we also need grant and fund researchers. Okay, so I wrote the grant. I wrote the seed grant that was approved. Woo! Awesome. All the board members, hey, way to go. No, it was not the first grant I wrote. I wrote a few and they were declined, but I finally won one and it was great. I'm feeling, I'm accomplishing something. I'm participating. But I didn't realize was how much work it was to administer it after the fact. So we got the money, and I Ian was not Ian was not the first call. Like I had to put together a request for proposal, an RFP, and then I had to figure out where to send it to. So I did a lot of research and, found out about, who's the professional fundraising person that can do this. I threw it out to, a ton of companies. I got 7 responses. I had to interview them. I had to interview everyone. And of course, we really liked the fact that Ian was local. He's got experience in Barrie, and he's was very successful with the theater group here in town. So, but it was hours and hours and hours of work for me to get there. And then it was okay. Now we got to find a database. I did a lot of work. Ian did a lot of work, and we finally came up with one. And talk about 15 years. We had a lot of great companies we were looking at, and all of a sudden the climate, U.S. Canada climate was shifting a little bit. And maybe we want to stick with a Canadian company, right? We want to keep our data in Canada with a Canadian. So we had to, it was just a lot of work to do that, which we were successful at. And then all of a sudden, okay, now we need to hire somebody. Well, I didn't have to do a lot of work there because Ian recommended PJ, and it's been working out. So, but I need, if when we receive grant funds, we need boots on the ground to kind of, and if I had more help, then it wouldn't all rely on one person. So there's a lot of room and a lot of these different areas, based on your skill level, your comfort level, and the time that you have to donate. We can find a place for you. Okay, sample volunteer roles, stewardship assistant, thank you letters and calls, event support, could be your role, help plan and staff events, CRM, and a data helper, somebody that, hey, I know about databases. I can enter information as it comes in, and grant assistant, somebody to help implement, grant funds when they come in, when they do come in. So, time commitment. We're flexible. We realize that this is, when you're looking for volunteers, you want to make things fairly flexible. So flexible based on your time and your strengths. So the committee meeting will be, we're thinking every 4 to 6 weeks. There will be seasonal events and activities, and we're open to all ages and experience levels. And so, what are the benefits? One of the things that I realized, because I do a lot of volunteering. This is one board that I've been on for 3 years. We came out of COVID. One of the reasons, and I didn't mention this earlier, one of the reasons why we need funds is there was a big turnover in the board with the COVID stuff. And so we're so blessed that the board before us left a wonderful reserve cash funds that we went through to restart the orchestra after COVID. So think about it. Go back in your mind a couple of years, and this is what we were dealing with. So first of all, coming out of COVID, people were still wearing the mask. People didn't want to get sick. You didn't want to be in public, and you were kind of like, so we were dealing with audience that was low, lower turnout. It's built now, and it's good now. But back then, our audience was low, and guess what? We had orchestra players, community members. Hey, I'm doing this because I love it. All of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to sit right beside somebody else." Right? I don't want to sit right beside somebody else. And if you're, hey, I'm a trumpet player, I can't play my trumpet and have a mask on at the same time, right? So these were some of the things, and these people that had concerns, absolutely, we don't want anybody outside their comfort zone or do anything that they're not comfortable doing. as a result, in order to put together an orchestra, we had to hire extra professional musicians to fill a lot of parts. And so that really took, the first year and a half or 2 years coming out of the COVID. That reserve was there, and it's basically depleted. So now we're at the point, hey, let's build the reserve up again. So we're looking. That's one of the real reasons behind the fundraising committee. So we're looking the benefits of be part of something meaningful, a meaningful cause. You know, I just I just turned 65 a couple months ago, so I'm just coming into retirement, and I do a lot of volunteering. So I'm on the Bold Bible Mission Board, have been for 25 years. I'm on the this board I've been on for 3 years. I'm still a team captain of the Brainiacs, the Ride to Conquer Cancer team. So it takes a lot of effort. But there's one thing I realize, the older you get, it's not always about the money. When you're young, you want to work hard, you want to save, and you want to be successful. You want to put enough money in the bank so that you can live through retirement. But the older I get, the more I realize that my life, I want it to mean something. You know, I want my legacy to mean something, and that's not all about the dollars in your bank account. It's about who you touch and who you help. How you make people feel, and so volunteering puts you on the front line to touch people's lives, to make a difference. So be part of a meaningful cause, um, to build new skills and friendships. There's nothing like being in the trench with somebody that solidifies a friendship. The people that I ride beside, raising money for cancer research, these are lifelong friends. These are, hey, I got a lot of friends. I'm not talking about Facebook friends. I'm talking about, hey, we all got lots of Facebook friends, but how many friends do you have that you can call at 10 o'clock at night and say, hey, I need to talk, or I need some help. And they'll say, hey, how can I help you? Those are the kind of friends that you can develop in this kind of a situation when you're doing something with a meaningful cause. So, building new skills, that's the other thing too, is it's never too late to learn something new. And to learn is to practice and learn. So new skills. Next one is to contribute to the arts in the community. There's no better feeling than knowing I'm part of the solution. I'm part of the answer. I'm making this place a better place. I'm just one of many, but I'm part of this orchestra, and recognition and appreciation. We want to be able to recognize everybody that steps up in a volunteer role. We have a lot of volunteers now. We have a whole crew that comes before a concert and before a rehearsal, and they drag everything out of the back and they set everything up and they plug everything in. And at the end, they put it all away. My God bless those guys. God bless them, because they do it, you know, concert in and concert out. And it just has to be done, but it's great. And so we appreciate them. And so recognition and appreciation. So um, our commitment to you, we want to give clear guidance and training. We want to, give you the resources and templates that you need to do your role, team support and collaboration. We want to make sure that we're doing this together. And I'm a strong believer that all of us are smarter than we are each individually put together. So when we put our smarts together, we're going to find the right way to make a difference. And then we want to celebrating volunteer impact. We want to be able to have those times of celebration. So your impact. Support every concert from behind the scenes. Help grow our donor base and legacy fund. Strengthen the HSO Huronia Symphony Orchestra for future generations. And next steps. Watch out for a follow-up email with an interest form. Find out. I'll probably put, where do you think you'd fit in? What's your skill level? Maybe a little bit of your background, so that we can determine where you would best fit. We're planning a committee meeting in June. We'll give you a lot of advance notice for that. And then there'll be an orientation and onboarding for new volunteers. No pressure. This is just an opportunity to help. And so join us to be part of the music. Behind every note is a team of passionate supporters. And thank you for considering how you can play your part. So at this point, I'm opening it up for questions. If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. Whatever you want. I'd be happy to try to answer any questions that you have. And if you want to ask a question, step number 1, unmute yourself.
I don't have a question at this time, but
Okay,
I want to thank you for the presentation.
good.
And I guess just looking forward to this interest form that's going to come our way.
Sure.
So that you've explained the process well, and I appreciate that very much. So I will be watching my emails.
Good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Annie. Any other questions? Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming and participating. And I've recorded this, obviously. And so I will be uploading it at some point to YouTube, and I will send everyone a link. So if you know of anybody else, and you've got a nice little link that you can do that. So I'm going to stop the recording.